Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons, and specifically 3 announced openings on the Dungeons & Dragons design team that were announced today by Mike Mearls, saying, I have 3 openings on my team, which means the Dungeons & Dragons design team, okay? This was announced on Twitter today, so this is fresh, hot news, right? So basically, I just want to talk about this a little bit, and get my thoughts out on it. So one, it's very exciting, right? Very, very exciting, right? Because guess what I think is prompting this? 6th edition, Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition is prompting this. So my thoughts on Mike Mearls announcing 3 vacancies on his, 3 openings, not vacancies, 3 openings on his, 3 available positions on his Dungeons & Dragons design team. That says 6E, 6E, 6E to me, right? I think this is all about 6th edition. Now, I think what will most likely happen is that the new people will not be hired to work on 6th edition, right? They will be hired to take up the work of Chris Perkins, Ted Krennic, Mike Mearls himself, and Kate Welch on the current 5th edition stuff, which is rolling on rails. Like that work is minimal, right? They're doing nothing, like next to nothing. They're building adventures. Who gives a that is the easiest, most rank amateur work there is, building adventures. Like, come on, build a world, man. Like give me a setting, right? Now I know they're bringing out Ravnica. Even that's already built. It's like copy paste, bring it over, whatever, right? Like so the reality is, I have mad respect for the Dungeons & Dragons design team. It's not that they're not doing anything because they're lazy or anything like that. It's just that right now, that thing is built. There's not a lot to do, right? And so, especially when you really can't release any settings, or when you're not going to put out any books like Player's Handbook 2 or anything like that, like building adventures is ridiculously easy work. Like every DM does it every single week, right? So that's my point about that, right? So I think what they'll do is they'll hire these 3 positions to replace the work that is being done by Kate Welch and Todd Krennic and Chris Perkins and Mike Mearls, okay? All right, now let's talk a little bit about what those positions are. They are editor, narrative designer, and game designer, right? I bounced over and I looked at I looked specifically at what do you get if you take this position, right? The game designer position. Now, I was looking purely out of curiosity, not because I was going to switch my job, and I'll tell you why in a minute. We'll get there. But one of the things I wanted to call out is they have an incredibly robust benefits package for these positions, right? For these positions, and I did want to say, like, very robust, like adoption services, 401k. 3 weeks paid vacation. You get between Christmas and New Year's off every single year. That's a guaranteed 1 week. Everybody takes it off the whole year. Like reduced prices on product, which I thought that was funny. They even listed that. But it's really, really interesting. And also, I just want to say they have very progressive benefits. I mean, this company's in Seattle, right? That's definitely blue state territory, right? And so very progressive, very robust benefits. But why did I not look? Well, I would love to write Dungeons & Dragons and be a game designer or a narrative designer on Dungeons & Dragons, and I feel like I'm fully qualified, but I wouldn't even take the time to apply, and here's why. I already know something that has nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons, has to do with the American free market. They can't pay what the people they want are worth, right? So here's the issue. I'm incredibly blessed. I work in technology, and I know for a fact that a game design company is not going to be able to match what a tech company makes. Like here's the thing: the entire industry of the tabletop role-playing game industry in 2017 was reported to be $35 million. The entire industry, right? By ICVTC2. $35 is like a rounding error. Like for $35 million is like a rounding error for tech firms, right? Like it's nothing. Like might be what they pay in catering each year. Like, it's ridiculously small. So I don't think Dungeons & Dragons that's actually going to be one of the biggest problems that the Dungeons & Dragons team is going to have. Now, I think they're going to have no problems filling these positions, right? They're going to be able to fill them. But I don't think I truly don't think they're going to be able to fill them with who they want, right? And the reality is, here's a very harsh reality fact, right? So who does Dungeons & Dragons want for the editor, for the narrative designer, and for the game designer? Well, here's what they want. They want somebody who's creative, they want somebody who's artistic, and they want somebody who's intelligent, right? Well, guess what? That's what every employer on the planet wants right now, right? Those kind of people are worth a fortune, right? And the other thing is, tech is just so robust in America today, and big energy, big pharma. There's just so many, entire huge industries that just sweep up the kind of people who would be good for these jobs, right? And I think if anybody, and to get the people they want, those people are so capable, so creative, so artistic, and so intelligent that those people can make 2 to 5 to maybe 10 times as much doing a job that's probably quite uninspiring. But, that's the reality. Is here the issue is, these Dungeons & Dragons jobs, these are rock star jobs, man. Like, everybody on the planet wants to do this, and so you don't really need to pay that much. And the reality is, at the end of the day, you're making an incredibly important product. Dungeons & Dragons is an incredibly important product. But the reality is, you're just not going to be able to bring a lot of money to those positions. So, so I'm actually going to talk about, so here's my next one. Who should fill those positions, right? So here's who should fill the 3 positions, right? So I would, and I think these are interchangeable. I would put these, you could put whoever you wanted into any of those slots, right? But I'll call them out. By the way, I have like a million people I'd want to put in, but I can only put in a few, right? So here's my picks, right? If I was hiring for this, I would hire these 3 people tomorrow, right? I would hire John Harper, creator of Blades in the Dark. He currently essentially is in-house at Evil Hat, in that they create they're his primary publisher right now. He doesn't work directly for them, but they're his primary publisher right now. I would hire Lewis Porter Jr. He does Pathfinder 3rd edition stuff. Incredibly capable designer. I really think he's just one of the very best in the business. He's worked really hard. He's built a ton of really good products, and I really feel he should be on the Dungeons & Dragons design team. And then the last one is Anna Creeder. Anna Creeder created The Watch, really very fascinating PBTA game, powered by the Apocalypse game about Vikings, essentially like a Viking setting, where the shadow comes in and essentially the Watch is this, this barricade of Vikings that are keeping this shadow from coming over into their land. Incredibly interesting game. By the way, I would highly recommend you buy anything from any of those creators. Honorable mention, I can't squeeze him in because he's a shared attribute person. In that he shares an attribute, he personally shares attributes with a lot of the people that are already on the team, right? And I think that's going to be going forward on any company that is thinking about the future. They're going to think about this shared attribute, part. Like, they'll be like, okay, well, we want to hire this person, but do they share a ton of attributes with the people that are already on our team? And then, at that point, are we going to kind of have an echo chamber, right? Because everybody's coming from the same perspective, right? But the person I would, give an honorable mention to, I just couldn't squeeze him into 3, is Adam Cobell who created Dungeon World. Here's another one. I would throw in Luke Crane, and I would throw, these are all honorable mentions. I think Luke Crane would be great. I also think that Vincent D. Baker, you could consider him. I'm not sure if he would actually want it. But the reality is, here's the thing, right? I know this is the fact, right? Let's just talk about John Harper for 1 minute, right? So John Harper made Blades into Dark. I think he's the best. Okay, take all the Dungeons and Dragons creators off the table, right? All non-D&D creators. I think he's the best tabletop role-playing game designer on the planet right now. Is John Harper. I think he's just absolutely brilliant. I think he's leagues ahead of anybody else, right? But the reality is, I don't even need to check. I have no idea what he does for a living. I know, I'm positive that virtually no one makes their living in tabletop role-playing games. So you can count the number of people who make their living solely on tabletop role-playing games on like your hands, your fingers, and your toes, right? They're incredibly rare, right? But the reality is, John Harper, he is, like I said, he is creative, artistic, and intelligent, but he just looks like tech, right? And specifically looks like a developer. He has the developer uniform. Well, what's the developer uniform? Well, the developer uniform is you look like a lumberjack, but it's pretty obvious you've never used an axe, right? Like, I think that would be, and it's just like John Harper looks like a dev, like through and through. If I'm wrong, John Harper, I truly apologize, but I would bet my left pinky toe that you are, that you are in tech, right? Actually, I don't want to lose my left pinky toe. Anyway, I got to think something better to bet. I would bet my left pinky toe from Scott Garibay one universe to the right, right? But I doubt, and because he's in tech, right? Like, it would be incredibly difficult for them, for Wizards of the Coast to match that kind of salary. I would bet you anything, right? I would bet my next universe over Scott Garabay's left toe that, he is worth $100 to $300,000. I would bet anything. I really, really think that that each one of these positions is probably paying about $60,000, right? Which is dirt. Like, you're not going to get the kind of people they really want for $60,000. Anybody who has the type of creativity, the type of artistic skills, the type of intelligence that they need, those people are making $100 to $300,000 on today's market, right? It's just without a doubt, like easy peasy, right? And one of the reasons why is we're one of the most competitive hiring zones in the history of the United States of America. So I'm really excited that Dungeons & Dragons has these 3 positions open. I have a lot of sympathy for them because I think they're going to have an incredibly difficult time actually getting the people they want. In fact, I don't think they're going to get the people they want. I think they're going to get the best people they can possible. And so one of the things there's so many things that are really interesting about this hiring position. One of the things is the position is in Washington State, right near Seattle. I think they're near, like, in Renton or something. But anyway, but it is in Washington State, and they want you to work on site. And I didn't even have to look. I didn't even have to look. I know that the comments are filled with a bunch of people going, "Can I work from home?" No, dude, you can't work from home, or lady, you can't work from home. And I think it's really interesting. I think work from home is a very interesting thing. I think work from home was like a really hot topic button for a while, but companies are like, if your desire is like really, really strong to work from home, that's probably a sign that you're not super excited about working, right? Like, it's just not, and I think companies are scaling back on that, and I think it's really fascinating that, Wizards of the Coast is like, no, man, we got a team, come on, get in here, let's talk it through, let's actually talk face to face, let's work like human beings here, right? So I think, there's just going to be a ton of people asking, for work from home situations, not wanting to move to Washington. So that's going to be a blocker for them getting the people they want. It's really going to be fascinating, who they get and who they don't. It's really, I'm really, really curious how this is going to shake out. I'm very excited. I truly believe this is evidence that 6th edition is on the way. And I'm positive, I am personally positive. It's just purely my opinion, but I really believe that the secret period of design for 6th edition has already begun, right? Already begun. And so, so I think that's happening right now. And I'm really curious who's gonna get there. Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know how they could get it done, but I would be so excited if John Harper could come onto the team. I'd be super excited if Lewis Porter Jr. could be hired. He lives in Florida though. Like that, I don't know if he's that's literally going to the farthest place away from where he lives. I would love to see him get in there, and also Anna Creeder. I think she would really add a lot to the team. So those are my picks personally. Who do you think that Dungeons & Dragons should hire for those 3 positions? And also, please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful day.